Whether they contain my pay. The underground was composed of translucent cranberry crystals that hummed with a low melodic vibration. Pip, a robot whose chassis was more rust than luster, stood at the edge of the great launch plateau. His spherical body creaked as he shifted his weight, his optical sensors whirring to focus on the horizon. Above him, the sky was a deep shade of violet. To get not this Permaraster was coughed out a plume of sapphire smoke before stabilizing into a shaky hum. With a final wave to the Elder, he leaned forward and zipped off the edge of the cliff, plunging into the glittering abyss toward the white, puffy giants waiting in the dark. Pip drifted through the ether, the cranberry moon receding behind him like a giant, faceted ruby. He hummed a low, binary tune to keep his processors from overheating with anxiety. However, as he entered the fringes of the Marshmallow belt, the air grew thick and cloying. The smell of toasted sugar and ozone filled his external sensors. A giant sphere of white fluff, nearly a mile wide, drifted lazily across his path. It looked like a cloud, but Pip could see the shimmering trails of sugar silk trailing behind it, ready to snap if it flew too close. Suddenly, Pip's left hop using the morals and signaled the clear paths. You just focus on keeping that battery warm. It is getting chilly out here, and the sun is already touching the horizon line. Pip felt a surge of relief. The weight of the mission felt a little lighter with Flicker leading the way. He followed her silver trail, weaving through the white giants as the violet sky began to deepen into a bruised purple. Daftardi, the long-range band I like Strastigay. They bumped and ground against one another, creating a chaotic landscape of shifting white walls. Flicker was darting through a narrow gap when a sudden gravitational shift caused two massive mallows to slam together. She barely made it through, but the path was now sealed for Pip. He was trapped in a pocket of space surrounded by towering walls of white fluff. Follow the vibration, little Pip. Bellies roared, his voice like grinding stones. I heard the chatter on the long-range band. I was mining some nearby sugar crystals when I saw you get swallowed up. Move your gears, the mallow is self-healing, Pip. Payer didn't need to be told. He pushed his thruster to the limit, flying into the tunnel bellows had carved. The walls were already beginning to ooze back together, the sticky sugar trying to reclaim the space. He could feel the heat of Bellow's massive engines ahead of him. With a final burst of speed, Pip shot out of the tunnel, into the face of the dangers, with a bang in the die cells. As the sun dipped lower, the temperature plummeted, causing the Marshmallow asteroids to crystallize and become brittle. This made them less sticky but far more dangerous, as they began to shatter into sharp, sugary shards that flew through the air like shrapnel. Pip's armor was peppered with small impacts, each one leaving a tiny dent in his coping. We will wait for the storm to subside and meet you at the village. With the weaver bots coating it in a protective golden sheen, Pip dived in the heart of the sugar storm. The wind screamed around him, and the shards of sugar battered his shield, but he kept his eyes fixed on the golden light of the battery, letting it guide him through the blinding white whirl. Pip could no longer tell up from down. He was tossed like a leaf in a gale, his sensors overloaded by the static discharge of the crystalline dust. Every time he felt himself slipping into a spiral, he thought of Cogsworth's steady hand, Flicker's speed, and Bellow's strength. He realized that he wasn't just Pip the rusty robot anymore. He was the sum of everyone who had helped him. He felt a sudden sharp pain in his side, and every size of lanes and every snake that it is. Under convertation of contract the costals of lures. Happy feast of lights, Pip, Flicker said, bumping a ring against his shoulder. He opened his eyes to find himself buried in a mountain of recycled foam cushions and discarded insulation. The villagers had seen him falling, and had scrambled to create a makeshift landing pad in the center of the square. Pip groaned as he wiggled out of the pile, his chassis dented and his paint scorched, but the gratitude battery was glowing brighter than ever. He climbed out of the heap and a cheer went up from the crowd of robots. It was the sound of clinking metal.